Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with the strategic and digital marketing management course and concentrate on the session 1, 2. So adding new marketing principles and the digital marketing knowledge. I have already gave you some basic principles, particular on corporate strategy and marketing. And now we will talk about the marketing communication and the channels, the consumer and business behaviors, the segmentation, targeting, and positioning, the marketing mix, and the distinction between outbound and inbound marketing. We will introduce the customer journey principles and the customer relationship management. In addition, some hints on data-driven marketing and the next new marketing mix. So all this are basic stuff, which is important to understand digital marketing. In the marketing communication, we have a high need to distinguish between the traditional and the digital marketing. I mean, the traditional, you can see it on the picture, is where companies giving information using a megaphone to blur out the information what they would like to give about their offerings, which has worked, which is successful, and should continue. In the digital area, we have actually the principle of communication, meaning talking and hearing, sending and receiving. That principle is unique because in the traditional way we have that too, only on a personal level, not on a mass communication level. But in the digital world, we can do that in a large scope. And therefore, we have to distinguish and have to use the methods. Social media, webmail, all the other communication functions which are possible through the digital organization. This has consequences also for the channels, because in traditional way, we have followed the principal channels. Of course, the most important part of communication in the channels is the communication and the action between the producer and the consumer. The customer comes to the farmer and the farmer sells his product directly. Many companies have followed that principle, and that principle is a well-established one. Of course, it has its limitation because distance, range, transportation issues, all that kind of things, and therefore other forms were introduced. One of them is the retailer. There is a retailer in between who collects various products from various producers and offers it to the customer. The customer comes and the retailer marks up and brings additional services, so that is a well-established second tier system. So there are two players involved in the channel. It could be 3, it could be 4, there could be a wholesaler, there could be a regional agent, there are many other forms. In some countries we have up to 7, sometimes even 9 channels, in a channel player in between. So that is an established way, and each and every market has its own dynamics on there. There could be distributors, there could be value-added resellers, so there's a huge variety of options in this existing marketing. When we talk about 4 and 5 players in the system, there could be agent brokers, regional distributors, and stuff like that, which could make marketing channel very challenging. And number one, the channel, when it becomes longer, it becomes slower. It's a huge markup and all this kind of stuff in there. In the new world, we are not walking away from the old one, but we are having the option to add digital channels, which are the online sales. One producer sells through his own online shop to the customer, or even through mail communication, I mean on a very simple layer. In the same, there could be a retailer in between, the Amazons of this world. There could be a platform in between, the wholesalers, whatever. And we have various forms which are similar to the traditional one on a digital level. So we have physical and digital channels, which really show and make a difference. And that gives the possibility that in the new marketing, omni-channel approaches could be possible. But it has its conflicts, it has its timing and pricing issues. So there are quite a few aspects to consider when we go through this omni-channel system. Well, when we talked about the traditional marketing communication, we talked about newspaper, flyers, radio, TV, billboards. These are the traditional one, and all of them are interrupting us. So you see something, and when you drive along, let's say a billboard, or you have a TV ad when you're in the middle of a movie. All this kind of stuff is bothering the customer, and therefore needs to be considered as one specific form of marketing. In the new way, things are different. We have in the digital marketing communication, we mainly concentrate on content. We give content, and that content attracts people to go to us. We may use influencer. One of the very important part is search engine optimization, SOE, where you actually give the opportunity to the searchers to find easily our information. You can pay for it, like pay-per-click. You can establish affiliate marketing and other ways. By the way, email marketing still works. The various forms of social media marketing, and of course, if you want to get viral, that is the best thing what you do. So what you see here is there's a distinction between the traditional marketing and the digital marketing communication. Now, in the new way of thinking, the traditional marketing has, of course, logo, brand, business cards, flyers, brochures, all this kind of stuff what I just mentioned. And that traditional marketing is here, and it works. There are many markets who just rely on traditional, but they also have digital marketings where companies start digitally and sell digitally. I mean, if you are Netflix, I mean, they started with CDs, but now they're streaming. Skype, they didn't start with the physical one, they started with the digital one. So all these possibilities are here today, and therefore the option for the future is actually an integrated marketing using traditional and digital marketing at the same time. Increase and improve qualified leads, nurturing opportunities, website and store traffic optimization. All this kind of stuff is important in the new way, and understanding the traditional and the digital marketing for your business is crucial to come to a success. Well, we also need to understand how consumers and business behave. I mean, there's the traditional motivation why a consumer buys something, and we need to understand. And if you have a new product, a new offering, we need to see how it fits in to the motivation of the customers. We also need to see how the behavior is changing. I mean, we see the existing behavior, but important is how the customer will change in the future with our new offering. To enhance the existing offering, to come up with new stuff that all affects the behavior of consumers. And then it gets into habits, and that habits needs to be understood and directed. In an omnichannel world, we have many options, and therefore understanding consumer and business behavior really directs us to the right decision to come up with the right activities to promote our offerings. One of the very important principles is understanding the segments, and then of course target them and position themselves as. This SDP thinking is very important. identifying the relevant segments. So looking at the large majority of the market and see which group of the market is the group of the people who really like to get close to us and want to use our products. I mean, it could be broad segmentation by demographics, by age, but it could be also niche by behavior, by attitude, by other things. Segmentation is a creative act, and you have to come up with a solution, with an offering, which is really specific for your way of doing it. Remember, when Amazon started, they looked at people who wanted books quick. There are millions of books, and the opportunity to give one specific book to one specific customer is very difficult in a traditional way. In the online selling, pretty simple. That is why Amazon started it, and that is why Amazon became successful. They started at books, moved to CDs and other items which has lots of variations for very specific customers. And identifying them and targeting them is the way to move forward. One part of that is also the positioning. How do I position myself? I am the fastest delivered. I'm the most expensive deliverer. I am whatever, fulfill the trust issues of the person. That is really, really the opportunity. So segmenting, targeting, and positioning is the art of marketing for each and every company. And finding their STP solution is the challenge. Well, to make things easier, marketing has developed the 4P framework, and everybody knows that. Not everybody knows the term outbound marketing because it was not established when 4P was established. But nevertheless, it is outbound marketing because 4Ps, as it consists of product, price, and promotion, it is something what is directed, organized, and determined by the company, and therefore it is something what is from the company. So the company determines the advertisement, the displays, the trade shows, the activities, everything what is promoted is coming from the company. So that is what we define today as outbound marketing. Outbound marketing is an activity which is triggered and most of the time paid by the company. And it's necessary because if the company doesn't do it, the customer doesn't know it, and therefore we need to have outbound marketing. But at the same time, we need to understand the evolution of the marketing mix. The marketing mix started in the 60s, and McCarthy brought it up, and Borden defined the marketing mix term, and then various variations came up. The big change came when the 4 C's from Lauterbach was introduced. I'll get back to that in a second because it changed the direction. First it was outbound, and then in 4 C's they really looked at the customer and saw what the customer wanted, and therefore that was a big change. There are more variations, and that was variations which has some good reasons. If you want to go deeper into that, read some of the literature I'll provide it to you. But the big change came with Hull's 4 C's, and then myself introduced the 5 E's. So the 5 E's, we believe, is the current development and most appropriate form of the marketing mix, what we have today, because it changes really the perspective. I mean, I mentioned the 4 C's, so the customer wants, the communication, the cost for the customer, and the convenience for the customer. All this really has a complete different perspective. And the large fast consumer good companies have followed the 4 C's. The Procter & Gamble, the Nestle of this world, they are providing all that what is necessary to make the 4 C's happen. So you can have a Coke in your fridge which you buy at retail. You can have a Coke in the bar with alcohol or not if you want. You can have a Coke from the dispenser in the office, and Coke is everywhere, and therefore it's completely convenient to get it. They communicate it all around the clock. They inform you what is new, and of course you calculate the cost. Are you buying a 2-liter bottle at the retailer, or are you buying a Cuba Libre in the bar? And that is really what adds up what you want. Therefore, what we have here is what we call inbound, including the digital opportunities. I mean, the Coca-Cola is not using traditional communication, but also they're using the digital communication. They have a fantastic SOE, search engine optimization. They use social media, they do blogs, they do viral marketing, they do influencer. All that kind of stuff is necessary to feed. But at the same time, the customer feeds you information. The influencer is listening. The SOE is seeing the effects of it. All that kind is a two-way communication, and therefore the inbound marketing is the addition to the existing outbound marketing. So having both sides is actually important. And the 5E framework, which creates the value for the customer, has that. So evolve the solution. The customer doesn't want a product. They want a solution, and they want the continuous increase of the effects of the solution. They want the channel. They want all the channels, the omnichannel, but they also are open for new channels. So extend the channels. They want to engage with the brand. And by the way, this is very important. In the other 4Ps, the brand was not there. Exchange the knowledge for communication and promotion, and expand the value. So with the 4Es, we have the opportunity to do the outbound marketing, but also the opportunity to have the inbound marketing. So the 5Es are the new marketing network, the new marketing framework. And let me repeat it, the brand is very important. In the former marketing mixes, we didn't have the brand. And now we have understood that branding is actually one of the essentials of today's marketing. So having that said, we also need to look about the process. And Philip Kotler calls it customer path. Others call it customer journey. And he talks about the 5A customer path: aware, appeal, ask, act, and advocate. So that's a big move away from the funnel. And we have physical and digital touchpoints. And this physical and digital touchpoints start somewhere. It could start with public relation or advertisement on radio and print, word of mouth, whatever. And on the digital side, you can start with banner ads or websites and social media. So if after you appeal, you may end up at the contact center or talk to friends and family. You may go to the store or communicate online. So all these things are possible to go through this journey, and customers know what it means, and companies need to understand what it means for the customer. So you have to have your various points of touch points ready, and you have the opportunity to improve them and give more opportunity to customer even after purchase and after they advocate in blogs and social media. So that principle is conceptual customer path, customer journey, which gives the opportunity to map your own one, and of course to improve the performance at the website or the word of mouth or the ratings. And by doing so, your possibility that more customer go through this path will lead to more success for you. So having this model and applying this model to the situation of each and every company is a great advantage, because what you want is actually what the CRM management determines. You want that the customer comes back. You want loyal customers. And out of that, you want actually customers who really are close to you and do the things which are necessary and act actually very quick. They should come back in a way that you want to keep it moving. And then comes the question of data driven, and by applying digital marketing you need to have the profiles, the segments, and the activate things happening all the time. And therefore the future of um, digital marketing is data driven. This is just a hint, there's more to come, but that pyramid gives you an opportunity where we are now, and we are in the Create Management Platform area where you activate this one. Well, the value creation, as I said, with the 5 E's networks is really important because exchanging the knowledge gives the basis for more interaction with the customer. Expand the value gives the customer a reason to come back. Evolve the solution brings more satisfaction and more new customers, and extend the channels enters the new way. And as I said, the brand is now very important. There's almost no offerings today with a brand, and therefore the 5 E's is the new model for the marketing mix in the future. And I would like you to apply that in your stuff. Of course, there are many more things to learn. One big step is the marketing plan. Down here is a link to the HubSpot marketing plan. Important is that you state your business mission, determine the key performance indicators, identify your buyer personas, describe your content initiatives and strategies, clearly define your plans, missions, define your marketing budget, identify your competition, and outline your plans, contributors, and their responsibilities. So this is a rough outline of a possible marketing plan. If you want more information, go on the HubSpot and build your marketing plan around that template. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to have you here.